Scrum is a framework for processes that has been used since the early 1990s. Scrum is used to manage the development of large products, and several methods and strategies are used to ensure that this occurs. Scrum may explain the relative effectiveness of your product management while you're attempting to enhance your management and development techniques. The framework consists of Scrum teams with a variety of roles, artifacts, and events, as well as a variety of rules. Each component of the framework serves a role that contributes to the success of Scrum. This video will describe all you need to know about Scrum, including the associated rules and relations. Before we get started, I would like to address the agenda for today's session. We will start our session with a brief understanding of what Agile is and why we need Agile. Next, we will understand the key terms of Agile and how to implement Agile. Moving on, we will understand what Scrum and Sprint is. Then, we will discuss the Scrum Team, Scrum Ceremonies, Scrum Values and Artifacts in detail. Moving on, we will understand who a Scrum Master is and their roles and responsibilities. Finally, we will conclude the session by talking about how to become a certified Scrum Master. I hope the agenda was clear. Now, if you like this video, do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, to learn more about Agile project management and its practices, check out Invensis Learning's Agile Project Management Certification Training on Certified Scrum Product Owner, Professional Scrum Product Owner, Professional Scrum Master, and Agile Scrum Master. All of the necessary information is given in the description box below. Without any further ado, let us get started with our first topic. What is Agile? Agile project management is a well-known incremental and iterative approach to project management. It focuses mostly on dividing the big and complicated project into more manageable sections that may be finished in smaller iterations. Agile is a collaborative methodology used to finish work effectively, adapt to changing requirements, and improve workflow. Agile project management focuses on continual improvement, which increases the value of the project. According to the Agile Manifesto produced by 13 industry experts in 2001, Agile methodology is based on 4 fundamental values and 12 principles. We will talk about it in detail in this blog. Now, let us move on to our next topic. Why do we need Agile? Organizations are now seeking a more iterative and adaptable approach to software development. Here are a few crucial reasons why Agile project management should be implemented. Progressive reduction of project failure risks. Rapid lead times. Fewer clashes in the near future. Reduced administrative process. Relationships between team members and enterprise entities working together to achieve success are enhanced. Measuring the progress of a project is significantly simpler in relation to deliverables. Now, some of the benefits of Agile project management and the reasons why firms use it for project management are: First, enhanced client satisfaction. Customers are involved in the Agile process, and modifications are made based on their input. This is beneficial to the client. The product backlog must be updated to adapt rapidly to changes. Demonstrating the working features and capabilities to the client throughout each sprint will encourage them to return more often. Second, enhanced performance visibility. At any point, every team member may be informed of the project status. Daily Scrum meetings, progress charts, and sprint reviews will help in performance monitoring. Third, enhanced team morale. The Agile project team members are self-managing and self-organized. Scrum Master eliminates any external obstacles to the team's progress. However, the cross-functional character of the team enables for skill development and career advancement. Fourth, improved project predictability. Improved project visibility leads to easier mitigation strategies and risk predictability. Agile offers a variety of methods for predicting project risks and implementing effective techniques. Task boards, Scrum meetings, and burn-down charts aid in project performance forecasting. Fifth, reduced risk. No Agile project fails to deliver a functioning product before the end of the first sprint. Regular feedback, contact with the development team, product release, sprint review, and retrospective meetings ensure that the end user may assess the new features and request any necessary modifications. This procedure reduces the risks associated with the process. Sixth, improved product quality. Agile is an iterative process, where the team maintains current skills and strives for continual progress. Testing is a vital aspect of the execution process, hence, the total quality of the product is increased. The client may participate in the development process and request modifications depending on their needs. Seventh, added relevant metrics. Agile approach puts a focus on achieving desired outcomes and optimizing performance. Among the Agile metrics are cycle time and lead time, which are used for predicting cost and time. These metrics allow to maintain a more accurate track of the team's performance, detect issues, and make the required choices to overcome obstacles. Now, let us move on to our next topic, key terms of Agile. First, Agile Manifesto. The Agile Manifesto is an excellent starting point for anybody interested in learning about the Agile approach. The manifesto explains the 4 values and 12 principles of Agile software development. It was written by a group of software engineers in an attempt to present a clear and alternative set of software development techniques. Second, Scrum Master. A Scrum Master controls the development process and works as the team's problem solver, eliminating obstacles and enforcing the Agile methodology. Third, Stakeholder. A stakeholder is any individual or group having a strong interest in a product. This may include the customer, the end user, sales agents, legal representatives, and so on. In the development phase, stakeholders play an informational role and are essential in establishing the project's needs. Fourth, Backlog. The backlog is the constantly evolving list of software needs. It should not be seen as a to-do list, but rather as a prioritized list of the stakeholders' desired product features. Fifth, User Story. A user story is an informal, generic description of a software feature that is written from the viewpoint of the end user. Its objective is to describe how a software feature will benefit the client. Sixth, Burn Down and Burn Up charts. A burn down chart is a visual representation of a project's progress over time. The vertical axis is made up of the backlog while the horizontal axis represents time. A burn up graphic depicts finished work. The vertical axis shows the amount done over the horizontal axis, time. These charts are vital for motivating the team as they work, as well as for providing a realistic timeline for the project's completion and the scale of the project. Seventh, Sprint. A sprint is a brief development process that typically lasts between 1 week and 1 month. Sprints prevent projects from becoming unmanageable and enable feedback to be provided at the proper times. Now, let us move on to our next topic, how to implement Agile. If you've established that the Agile methodology is the best strategy for your project, client, and organization, here are 5 steps to effectively deploy Agile. First, get stakeholder buy-in. Get stakeholder buy-in before implementing Agile. Everyone must be on board for its success. Discuss the advantages of Agile with the key stakeholders, answer their questions, and address their concerns. Second, begin with a single project. Agile is based on an emphasis on iterative and incremental improvement. The most effective method for implementing Agile over a whole organization is to begin with a small project and evaluate the feedback. Then you may apply it to further projects. Third, concentrate on empowering and inspiring your team. Agile initiatives need team members to interact, communicate, and solve problems. If your project team is not engaged and motivated, the Agile methodology will fail. After all, one of the core ideas of Agile is to construct projects around motivated employees, provide them with the necessary support, and then have faith in their ability to complete the task. Fourth, select a framework and commit to it. Agile may offer significant changes to your team's operating procedures. It is crucial to choose and adhere to an Agile framework. For instance, if you want to apply Scrum, you must have daily Scrum meetings, regardless of how busy everyone claims to be. Fifth, adjust and revise. When adopting Agile for the first time, it is crucial to follow a tried and true project management procedure. While your team is still learning the basics, you should not begin experimenting with hybrid frameworks or altering the rules in the middle of a sprint. An essential aspect of Agile is doing a retrospective to determine what is working and what is not, and then making adjustments. After each sprint and project, it is crucial to gather the team to discuss the next steps. If something isn't working, it may be time to switch Agile frameworks or make other adjustments. Remember that Agile is intended to be iterative, and you should apply it accordingly. Start small, prioritize tasks that can be completed quickly, evaluate what is working, be flexible, cooperate, and communicate regularly. Now, let us move on to our next topic, what is Scrum? Agile projects are implemented using the Scrum framework of rules, roles, events, and artifacts. Scrum is a technique which is iterative and consists of sprints that generally run between 1 and 4 weeks. This method guarantees that your team provides a new version of the product on a frequent basis. Scrum was created using a software development framework that includes a set of roles, responsibilities, and meetings. It may be used for any complicated project, but it is most effective when the end result is a product as opposed to a service. Scrum's fundamental purpose is to meet the customer's requirements through an atmosphere of open communication, shared accountability, and continuous improvement. The development begins with a broad concept of what needs to be produced, followed by the creation of a prioritized list of features called a product backlog that the product owner needs. Now, let's see why Scrum is more popular than other frameworks. Scrum is more prominent than other Agile frameworks due to its various advantages. It offers various benefits over other Agile manufacturing strategies. It is now the software industry's most popular and reliable reference system. Here are some of Scrum's proven advantages. First, simple to scale. Scrum methods are iterative and maintained within set periods, allowing the team to focus on particular features for each time frame. This not only has the benefit of producing better deliverables in accordance with the customer's expectations, but also allows teams to scale modules in an organized, plain, and easy way with regard to functionality, design, scope, and features. Second, flexible changes. Fast response to changes in customer demands or industry advancements. The methodology is built to adapt to the changing needs of complicated projects. Next, time to minimize the market. The client will begin using the most important project features prior to the product's completion. This reduces the time to market. Next, compliance with expectations. The customer explains its expectations, indicating the significance of each requirement or project history. The team estimates them, and the product owner, provided with this information, establishes its priority. Regularly, during sprint presentations, the product owner confirms that the requirements have been satisfied and provides the team with feedback. Now, let us move on to our next topic. What is a sprint? In Agile product development, a sprint is a defined period of time during which certain tasks must be executed and made available for review. Every sprint starts with a meeting for planning. Within the meeting, the product owner, the person requesting the work, and the development team determine the exact tasks to be completed during the sprint. The development team has the final word on the amount of work that can be realistically completed within the sprint, while the product owner has the final say regarding the criteria that must be satisfied for the work to be accepted. The sprint time is chosen by the Scrum Master, the team's facilitator and Scrum Framework manager. Once the team gets an agreement on the duration of a sprint, all subsequent sprints should be identical. A sprint typically lasts 30 days. After a sprint starts, the product owner must hand over control to the team. Throughout the sprint, the team has daily stand-up meetings to review progress and generate solutions for obstacles. The project owner may attend these sessions as a spectator, but participation is restricted to answering questions only. During a sprint, the project owner may not propose modifications, and only the Scrum Master or project manager has the authority to interrupt or end the sprint. At the completion of the sprint, the team delivers their finished work to the project owner, who then decides whether to accept or reject the work based on the criteria specified at the sprint planning meeting. Now, let us move on to our next topic, Scrum Team. The Scrum Team gets divided into the many tasks and responsibilities associated with product delivery. Each function is interdependent. When feasible, it is encouraged that Scrum Team members work at the same location. Examining the tasks, authority, and qualities of each of these jobs. Let us talk about the different roles in the Scrum Team, one by one. Product Owner. The product owner is the member of the team who understands the customer's demands and their respective business value. Then, he or she may communicate the customer's desires and values to the Scrum Team. The product owner must understand the product's business case and client requirements. He must be ready to consult with the team to ensure that they are executing the product vision appropriately. In other terms, the product owner is accountable for managing the product backlog, which consists of the following items. Clearly defining product backlog items. Next, ordering the product backlog items for best achievement of objectives and goals. Then, maximizing the value of the work performed by the team. Next, assuring that the product backlog is visible, transparent, and understandable by everybody, and that it indicates what the team will continue to work on. Next, ensure that the team understands product backlog items at the required level. The next role is Scrum Master. The Scrum Master holds the team responsible for their commitments to the company and removes any obstacles that may hinder the team's efficiency. They meet with the team often to evaluate work and deliverables, typically once per week. A Scrum Master's duty is to train and inspire team members, not to enforce regulations. A Scrum Master's responsibilities include ensuring the process runs smoothly, eliminate obstacles limiting productivity, Coordinate the crucial events and development team meetings. The next role is development team. Organizations establish and empower development teams to coordinate and manage their own work. The resulting synergy enhances the overall efficiency and effectiveness of the development team. Development teams possess the following traits. They are arranging themselves. No one, not even the Scrum Master, instructs the development team on how to transform the product backlog into possibly deliverable increments. Next, Scrum does not recognize titles for development team members, regardless of the work being performed by the individual. Scrum does not recognize sub-teams within the development team, regardless of the domains that must be addressed, such as testing, architecture, operations, or business analysis, and individual development team members may have specialized skills and areas of focus. Now, let us move on to our next topic, the Scrum Ceremonies. Scrum Ceremonies are meetings that establish alignment between the Scrum Master, product owner, and development team. These ceremonies, also known as Scrum events, are conducted at important moments in the Agile sprint cycle, which we will describe further. Scrum ceremonies consist of sprint planning, daily stand-up, sprint review, sprint retrospective, and product backlog refinement. As Scrum is an Agile methodology for project management, there might be misunderstanding over terminology. Scrum ceremonies, Agile ceremonies, Scrum meetings, and Agile meetings are often used interchangeably. Despite the fact that the agendas for both events are identical, it is vital to highlight that Agile and Scrum teams have significant variances. Sprints are small iterations of work that typically run no more than 2 weeks and are used to implement Scrum. To guarantee effective execution, a sprint includes 4 distinct Scrum ceremonies: sprint planning, daily Scrum, sprint review, and sprint retrospective. Let's go further and study each Scrum ceremony in detail. First Scrum ceremony is sprint planning. This ceremony prepares the whole team for the next sprint, paving the way for a productive sprint. All Scrum roles must participate in sprint planning, including the development team, Scrum Master, and product owner. Clearly, the planning occurs before the sprint. It normally lasts between 1 and 2 hours. The product owner brings a prioritized list of product backlog items to the meeting, which is presented to the group. The list items, also known as user stories, are then discussed with the development team. They estimate the time required to perform the tasks on the list collectively. The development team produces a sprint prediction based on this data. They will explain the amount of work that can be completed from the product backlog. This is referred to as the sprint backlog. During some sprint planning ceremonies, the specifics of each user story will be addressed. This will ensure that all participants understand the scope of the activity. However, some will have a separate gathering or ceremony for story refinement. This reduces the length of the actual sprint planning ceremony and restricts its focus to the user stories that will be addressed in the future sprint. Then, the team may plan their sprint using a Scrum board. Second, Scrum ceremony is the daily Scrum. This brief Scrum ceremony ensures that everyone is aware of what is occurring. It's a technique to guarantee team-wide openness. This is not the time for a deep dive into the details. This is not a comprehensive status meeting, but rather a fun and interesting gathering. It is a space for each team member to respond to the following questions: what did you finish yesterday? What are you working on today? And do you have any obstacles? According to its name, the Daily Scrum is a daily event that typically takes place each morning with the development team, Scrum Master, and product owner. The ceremony is often brief, lasting about 15 minutes, which is why it is also known as a stand-up meeting. That will make sure it doesn't drag on. The Daily Scrum is beneficial because it requires responsibility. In front of their colleagues, individuals report truthfully on what they have done, what they want to accomplish, and how they may be experiencing obstacles. It would be humiliating for the team to not be making progress in front of others, therefore reporting in such a social context motivates them to succeed. The Daily Scrum is not restricted to teams located in the same physical place. The ceremony may be held by video conference or another kind of group chat if the teams are working remotely. Third, Scrum ceremony is the sprint review. After the sprint has concluded, it is time to gather the team for a demo or presentation of their work. Every member of the team examines the newly produced features or whatever they worked on during the sprint. This gives a space for the team to celebrate a successful sprint, which is crucial for team spirit. It also presents the completed work to the whole team so that they may offer input and receive feedback from project stakeholders. In this case, unlike previous ceremonies, the review might run as long as it takes to present all of the team's work. Again, the participants consist of the development team, Scrum Master, and product owner, as well as, in this case, additional project-related teams and stakeholders. These demonstrations are not a sample of the work, but rather a comprehensive evaluation of it. If not, the value of the sprint review is reduced. The evaluations must fulfill the quality standard established by the team in order to be considered complete and included in the sprint review. Next Scrum ceremony is the sprint retrospective. The last Scrum ceremony is known as the sprint retrospective. It happens at the conclusion of a sprint, after the review, and often lasts an hour. Participating in the retrospective are the development team, Scrum Master, and product owner. As part of an Agile process, Scrum is all about change, which involves receiving input and acting on it quickly. Scrum seeks continuous improvement, and the retrospective is a technique for ensuring that the product and development culture are improving continuously. The retrospective is a method for the team to determine what went well and what did not during the previous sprint. The comment reveals the team's and its processes' defects, allowing them to strengthen their weaknesses and enter the following sprint in decent condition. The purpose of the sprint retrospective is to identify and resolve problems that have arisen during the sprint, not to lay blame. It is also used to commend the team for a job well done when there were no problems. Nevertheless, if the mantra of Scrum is to always seek improvement, then the retrospective must also be critical, but only as a stepping stone to development. Here, constructive criticism is important. Next Scrum ceremony is the product backlog refinement. Product backlog refinement, also known as product backlog grooming, is a sprint-ending meeting. The purpose of the meeting is to examine the backlog and maintain its purity and organization in preparation for the next sprint. The Scrum team and product owner engage in the meeting to refine the product backlog. As they review the most important items in the backlog, the team will ask the kinds of questions that are often asked during sprint planning sessions. What should we do if the user's information is incorrect? Are all users accessing this part of the system? These questions enable the product owner to respond and aid the team in understanding their responsibilities. The aim of the product backlog refinement is not to completely fix concerns, but rather to provide the Scrum team and product owner an opportunity to ensure that the backlog is correct. Therefore, the whole team does not often participate. Now, let us move on to our next topic, Scrum Values. Scrum Values are the principles adhered to by Scrum team members. These principles form the basis of the Scrum framework. The Scrum Values describe various types of behavior that aid in understanding and implementing Scrum principles and gaining more value from them in challenging environments. According to the Scrum Handbook, successful use of Scrum requires people to become more skilled at embodying these 5 values. To guarantee that projects reach their greatest potential, each team member must commit to upholding the Scrum Team Charter's values. The Scrum Values are the standards that should be upheld by the whole team while working in the company. The Scrum team makes independent choices and determines its own objectives. For the team as a whole to make choices and reach a resolution, Scrum Values are crucial. Individuals must share these core ideals in order to engage productively. A common belief system enables any team to cooperate efficiently, which is the basis of the Scrum methodology. Scrum was designed largely for managing complex projects that must quickly adjust to scope or demand changes. Each of the 5 Scrum ideals is crucial to the success of a Scrum project for this reason. Therefore, these values are not theoretical. It focuses on the attributes that people must possess in order to perform effectively as a team for a business. Commitment, focus, openness, respect, and courage are the 5 Scrum values. Let's discuss each one of them in detail. First, commitment. Scrum depends on the individual commitment of each team member to see the project to completion. This involves every Scrum team member expressing a personal commitment to achieving the team's goals. Therefore, it involves more than only agreeing to achieve deadlines and other milestones. Although meeting deadlines is a component of the commitment, the scope goes well beyond milestones to the organization's vision and ultimate objective. It is a commitment to learning, excellence, giving one's best, the team, and working collaboratively. Scrum is successful due to the dedication of each individual to the success of the project. Scrum teams must be able to cooperate effectively and operate as a team in order to achieve their objectives. This involves having faith in one another to fulfill their obligations to the best of their abilities. This will only occur if every team member is totally committed to the team and project. Scrum Masters and team leaders can also aid in establishing commitment by encouraging strong sprint planning and protecting teams from scope changes and additional pressure during the sprint. Some of the most common ways to express commitment are: sprint commitment. A sprint commitment is characterized by acceptable objectives and a short deadline for their completion. Therefore, The team must commit to doing their part to achieve the sprint's objectives. Next, team commitment. As a team, you must demonstrate acceptance of change and flexibility. As a team, you may complete the project's objectives in manageable bits. In the event of a difficulty, the team may gather together and debate the issue in order to develop and implement a solution. Then, individual commitment. As an individual member of a team, you should contribute as much as possible to the sprint objective. This represents your personal commitment. Furthermore, commitment includes a team member's enthusiasm for the team and collaboration. They are dedicated to quality. Commit yourself to learning. Commit daily to achieving their best. Make a commitment to self-organization as well as excellence. This was about commitment. Let us now go on to the next Scrum value, focus. Typically, sprints are divided in Scrum projects. Consequently, Scrum teams have between 1 and 4 weeks to produce the needed product increment. To produce the intended output and achieve their goals, team members must maintain full focus. The short timeline of Scrum helps teams to concentrate on what is most essential in the present without being distracted by what may become significant in the future. There may be an excess of problems or distractions, some of which may be important enough to demand immediate care. Scrum team members must remain focused on the tasks at hand and move forwards throughout the duration of the project. When the requirements are clear and the target has been defined, the most effective method to attain the objective can be established. This motivates you to produce faster, better, and more results. You may decrease resource waste and meet deadlines by concentrating on a single objective. This Scrum value uses a decreased risk level and provides sufficient time to develop and provide the needed outcomes. In Scrum, an iterative incremental approach and timely delivery help us maintain focus on the project's objective. To get the most out of each sprint, each team member should stay focused on the job at hand and consider how it impacts the sprint objective. For example, Scrum Masters may limit the amount of tasks or priority allocated to each team member throughout sprints in order to assist them maintain their concentration. In addition, encouraging the participation of the whole team in the daily Scrum meeting may help employees remain focused on their allocated roles. The daily Scrum allows participants to collaborate on the immediate daily activities necessary to make the maximum progress toward the sprint goal. Product objectives give emphasis during sprints and aid in defining and sustaining the team's direction of work. This was about focus. Now, we will discuss our next Scrum value, openness. To make the most progress in the shortest period of time, each member of the Scrum team must be absolutely open about their own performance. The goal of the daily Scrum meeting is to identify and resolve issues. This cannot occur if team members do not disclose any problems or hurdles they face. In addition, team members must be ready to work with one another and recognize one another as significant contributions to the success of the project. The greatest strategy for Scrum Masters to promote openness is to be transparent with their teams. Not only is it essential to provide honest feedback at daily Scrum meetings in order to make the necessary changes, but it will also encourage openness and honesty among team members. Scrum team members and project stakeholders must communicate openly and truthfully. When discussing the expected workload and related concerns, both sides must be absolutely open. This openness fosters trust between all parties. This value also suggests adaptability and an openness to change. Unfortunately, practically every project involves risks and obstacles. Scrum encourages open and trusted communication with all stakeholders, team members, and supervisors. This involves informing team members truthfully if anything must be redone and accepting such input with respect, recognizing that everyone is working toward the same objectives. This openness concept also necessitates that project stakeholders disclose changes in schedule, resources, or product specifications in a timely and straightforward manner. The modifications should be mentioned without pressure. Among the advantages of openness are: being open and truthful about one's efforts contributes to team transparency. Next, openness enables team members to receive support. Next, team members may help one another when communication is open. Next, open team members may contribute ideas, feel heard by their teammates, and support team decisions. Next, when incorrect ideas are proven, those who practice openness are able to own their mistakes. This also applies to a characteristic whose value is clear. These were a few advantages of openness value. Now, let us move on to our next Scrum value, respect. Respect is essential for discussing and resolving complex problems and constructing high-performing teams. Members of a Scrum team should respect one another's values, viewpoints, experiences, and cultures. Respect among Scrum team members strengthens their relationships and promotes the team's performance. Members must also respect users by listening to their concerns and complaints and ensuring the final product meets their requirements. The members of a Scrum team must acknowledge that customers may change their minds or modify their needs for a variety of reasons. Scrum teams are often collaborative and self-organizing, yet each member is independent, that is, no one reviews their work regularly. Each employee is considered capable of doing their job without constant monitoring or check-ins from a management or colleague. Respect is trusting your colleagues to do their duties, listening to and considering their recommendations, and recognizing their accomplishments. Respect in a Scrum team means recognizing, as it does in any other team activity, that no person or contribution is more valued than another. You must respect their privacy and entrust them to do the assignments by the deadline. Scrum Masters may build respect among their teams by demonstrating respect for the product owner, stakeholders, and team members. Among the advantages of respect in Scrum are: when we respect and acknowledge that people are naturally resourceful, creative, and capable of cooperating to solve complex problems, we empower and enable self-managing teams. Now, respecting people's diverse backgrounds, experiences, and individual problem-solving talents enables teams to quickly tackle complex problems in new and inventive ways. Next, when we respect that people are motivated by purpose, expertise, and autonomy, we create an environment that engages team members and enables teams to become more effective. Next, transparency exists when we respect that people are doing their best job within the allocated time and with the resources at hand. Then, when we respect people and think they have good intentions, we will be able to conduct uncomfortable conversations that assist us in resolving issues and advancing as a team. Next, we can guarantee that everyone gets the chance to be heard if we respect all ideas and perspectives. When we feel heard, we can fully back team choices, even if they are not our first option. This was about respect value. Let us now go on to our last value, which is courage. Scrum teams must have the courage to be honest, transparent, and forthright about the project's progress and any roadblocks they find with internal and external stakeholders. Team members must also have the self-assurance to seek help when required, explore unusual approaches or procedures, and respectfully disagree and participate in open discussion. As with respect, Scrum Masters can primarily encourage courage by demonstrating it. For instance, to prevent mid-sprint modifications or scope creep, the Scrum Master must have the confidence to stand up to the stakeholders and product owners. Next, team members must have the courage to face challenges and do the right thing. It is easy to steer clear of caution and avoid danger. Unfortunately, a team lacking confidence will lack imagination, creativity, and productivity. Members of a Scrum team must have a strong backbone and not back down in the face of challenges. This courage extends to embracing Scrum methodology and putting its ideals into practice, particularly when faced with critics or unbelievers. Some examples of courageous behavior are: first, it takes courage to be honest about work progress while under pressure to complete tasks more quickly. Second, it takes courage to ask for assistance or acknowledge that we have no idea how to do anything. Third, it takes courage to hold individuals responsible when they fail to achieve team requirements. Fourth, it takes courage to attempt to build something that has never been before without knowing whether it will succeed. Fifth, we may discover that we have created a product that our customers do not need. It takes courage to acknowledge that the assumptions were inaccurate. Sixth, it takes courage to disagree with a teammate and to engage in a good argument. Seventh, accepting one's own errors demands courage. This may apply to technical labor, judgments, or an individual's overall mindset. So, this was about the value, courage. Now, let us move on to our next topic, Scrum Artifacts. A Scrum Artifact is a collection of information used by a Scrum team to specify the product or service being built, the phases needed to produce it, and the activities required to build it. Scrum Artifacts give information on sprint performance. Scrum Artifacts are crucial to Scrum teams because they allow basic Scrum characteristics like transparency, inspection, and adaptability. This is critical, particularly for remote teams who may work from home, since it provides a platform for them to track their sprint performance. This keeps everyone, regardless of location, on the same page. Scrum focuses on small, cross-functional teams that may arrange themselves to finish tasks. For this to occur, the Scrum team must have a common knowledge of the work at hand. Here, Scrum Artifacts are used. Scrum Artifacts keep the whole team on track as they work towards the sprint's objective. Even when significant or last-minute changes occur, Scrum Artifacts continue to capture the important information the team needs at key checkpoints to produce the final product. Now, we will discuss how Scrum Artifacts are useful. Scrum Artifacts serve the following purposes. First, creating a list of your product management objectives and goals. Second, creating a list of actions that will help you reach your objectives. Third, tasks may be divided into sprints depending on their dependency and significance. Fourth, helps facilitate completion of duties on time. Fifth, examine and analyze the facts to see how well they align with the objectives. Consequently, these are a few of the reasons why Scrum Artifacts are advantageous and why they are so popular among organizations. Now, the 7 artifacts of Scrum are: product vision, product backlog, sprint vision, sprint backlog, definition of done, product increment, and burn down chart. These are the 7 Scrum artifacts that play an important part in enhancing the performance of a Scrum team. Now, let's examine each Scrum item individually. First, product vision. A product vision, often known as a product vision statement, describes the broad, long-term goal of your product. Vision statements are aspirational and define precisely where a product aims to go and what it expects to accomplish in the long term. The statement should serve as a guide and reminder for all parties involved in the production of a product, including the product team, development, executive staff, and marketing, to understand the shared objective they're seeking to accomplish with this product. Your vision statement should also describe why the product is being developed and what the business hopes to accomplish in the future with it. Having a vision helps in designing a product from the top down. Simply said, you begin with a high-level vision statement and translate it into a strategic guide and action plan, known as the product roadmap. The roadmap's strategic perspective is subsequently turned into a tactical development approach. Among the advantages of product vision are: a product vision statement may provide value by facilitating your team's ability to explain the products company should focus. Next, they aid in the coordination of the several groups and departments working on the project inside the company. Next, with product vision, there is a shared vision so that everyone has something to refer to, which may help remind people why they are doing what they are doing. Also, prior to advancing to the next phase of any new product, the team should always write a vision statement before beginning work on the product strategy. Thus, this relates to the product vision. Let us now go to our next Scrum artifact, the product backlog. The product backlog is an ordered list of features that must be included into the final product, and it serves as the only source of requirements for any product adjustments. Future versions of the product will include all of the features, functionalities, requirements, enhancements, and corrections detailed in the product backlog. The characteristics of product backlog items include a description, an order, an estimate, and a value. These are often known as user stories. The product owner is responsible for the product backlog's availability, content, and ordering. A product backlog is a continuing process. It is possible that the first version has the criteria that were originally established and best understood. The product backlog evolves as the product and the context in which it will be used evolve. The product backlog is always developing to include what is required for its effectiveness. Product backlogs exist as long as a product does. As the product in development is utilized and gains value, the product backlog develops in scale and scope. Product backlog is a living artifact because it is affected by changes in corporate needs, market circumstances, and technology. Adding descriptions, estimations, and priority rankings to the product backlog items constitutes refining the product backlog. This is an ongoing procedure that is performed by the product owner and the team. The Scrum team defines how and when the product backlog will be refined. The product owner may modify product backlog items at any moment or at their discretion. Typically, higher-ordered product backlog items are more precise and complete than lower-ordered ones. As a result of enhanced clarity and specificity, more precise estimates are generated. Less detail correlates to a lower order. Product backlog items that are likely to be prospects for the next sprint are improved so that they may be generated during the sprint. In the sprint planning meeting, product backlog items that the team can develop in one sprint are declared ready for selection. So, this was about product backlog. Let us now go on to the next Scrum artifact. Sprint vision. A sprint vision is a brief explanation of the objectives the team expects to achieve during an Agile sprint. It is a measurable, time-bound goal established by the team and product owner for the duration of the sprint. Although the sprint vision or sprint objective is not typically documented as an artifact, it is an essential component of the Scrum architecture. The sprint vision is developed by the Scrum team during sprint planning. It explains to the Scrum team why they are spending time, money, and effort on the sprint. A sprint goal outlines the sprint's objective and supports future project decision-making. If new problems or tasks develop throughout the sprint vision gives the team guidance on what to prioritize and how to reorder or prioritize work. Among the advantages of sprint vision are: sprint vision brings clarity and purpose to daily scrums. Next, establish a benchmark for monitoring progress, value, and outcomes. Then, allow for some flexibility in the implementation of features during the sprint. Next, assist the product owner in the development of the product roadmap. Then, assist with sprint planning, improve decision-making efficiency and coordination. So, this was about sprint vision. Let's now move on to the next Scrum artifact, the sprint backlog. The sprint backlog consists of the product backlog items selected for the sprint, as well as a strategy for delivering the product increment and reaching the sprint goal. The sprint backlog is the team's estimate of what feature will be available in the next increment and the effort necessary to provide that functionality in the form of a workable product increment. The sprint backlog is a properly detailed plan for the daily Scrum to monitor. Throughout the sprint, the team modifies the sprint backlog, which grows as a result. This emerges when the team works through the plan and learns more about the work necessary to accomplish the sprint goal. The team adds additional tasks to the sprint backlog when they become necessary. The remaining work estimate is revised when work is done or finished. Elements of the plan considered unnecessary are eliminated. During a sprint, the sprint backlog may only be updated by the team. The sprint backlog is a highly visible, real-time representation of the work the team wants to do during the sprint, and it is wholly owned by the team. However, the development team is not allowed to completely alter the items in a sprint backlog. The team must negotiate with the product owner, product manager, or Scrum Master before making any changes to the sprint backlog. The development team and Scrum Master benefit from this communication. This is due to the fact that rather than fully removing a process, it enables you to uncover strategies that assist to construct smaller, more manageable sections of the process. Sprint backlogs are generated by breaking a task from the product backlog into smaller, executable sprint tasks. Let's examine an example to make this clearer. Assume you want to have a website page. Adding a web page requires many stages, including the preparation of an appropriate layout. The product backlog is a list of general tasks, including the creation of a website. The sprint backlog is comprised of particular, smaller tasks that are derived from a bigger project. Creating the user interface design for this website, for instance, is a job that should be placed in the sprint backlog. This was about sprint backlog. Let us now on to the following Scrum artifacts. Definition of done or DOD. The definition of done or DOD states that all user story items in a sprint backlog have been finished. For those who do not know what a user story is, allow me to explain. A user story is an informal description of the features and characteristics of a software system. What the customer or client wants to perform with the software product is generally the basis of the requirements. The Scrum team must now agree on what defines done. They must define done and use it as a checklist while working on their user stories. Therefore, the team may select collectively what tasks must be completed by the conclusion of the sprint and mark each of those tasks as done. Therefore, when they finish each job on the checklist, they may mark it as complete. The Scrum team may create its concept of done during the first sprint's planning. The DOD may then be improved at sprint retrospectives, at which point it is addressed. It may be adjusted as required along the procedure. And with Agile, there are several done statements. Each feature is dependent on the completion of another feature ahead of the release of the final product. That would be the outcome. However, each sprint has a requirement that must be met by the end of the sprint. This implies that if the feature needed to be released on its own, it could be. An example of a definition of done might be, for a development team, when the software has automated tests that meet a specified specification and has been deployed to a production environment. When evaluating available Scrum tasks, a team without a specified definition of done may commonly question, is this done? During sprint review, the concept of done helps in determination of an increment. The increment should be provided in completely functional packages that are added to the prior increments. Done signifies that a task has been completed and may be closed for burn down tracking. The project should ideally be finished after each iteration. This is not always the case, though. Things arise that must be addressed, leading the project to pivot in order to quickly adapt to these changes. Therefore, it is not advisable to release after every sprint. To monitor the progress of the project, however, each feature must be completed inside the sprint. Therefore, completion involves ensuring that each feature has been completely developed, tested, and approved by the product owner. It is then and only then complete. This was about the definition of complete. Let us now move on to the next Scrum artifact, product increment. This is the most crucial artifact of the Scrum. Product increment is the total of all product backlog items completed within a sprint. Because each sprint may create product increments, the product increment must match the team's concept of done and be acceptable to the product owner. The increment is the total of all product backlog items completed during a sprint plus the sum of all sprint increments performed before. At the conclusion of a sprint, the new increment must be a functional product, which means it must be functional. The Scrum team must obtain a common understanding of an increment. This varies widely based on the Scrum team, but team members must have a common understanding of the job to be accomplished. This is used to decide when work on the increment product is finished. The similar concept helps the team determine how many product backlog items may be selected during a sprint planning session. The objective of each sprint is to provide increments of potentially releasable functionality. Teams deploy an increment of product features with each sprint. This increment is functional, therefore a product owner may choose to release it immediately. If the definition of an increment is included in the development organization's conventions, rules, or guidelines, all Scrum teams must at a minimum adhere to it. If it is not a tradition of the development company, the Scrum team must create an increment definition that is suitable for the product. Each increment is incremental to all prior increments and is extensively tested to assure consistency. As Scrum teams expand, it is expected that their definitions of increments will expand to contain additional criteria for enhanced quality. Any individual product should have an increment definition that acts as a guide for any work performed on it. This was about product increment. Now, let us move on to our next topic and discuss about the sprint burn down chart. The burn down chart is a graphical representation of the rate at which the team completes user stories or product backlog items. Therefore, a burn down chart shows the overall effort proportional to the amount of work during a sprint. Even though it is not often considered one of the essential Scrum artifacts, the burn down chart is a crucial artifact that should not be overlooked. The purpose of a burn down chart is to verify that the project is on track and that the deliverable will meet expectations and be completed on time. The velocity of a Scrum team is measured by the number of user story narrative points that have been completed throughout the sprint. Tasks that are only partially finished are not counted toward velocity. At any time during a sprint, the total quantity of outstanding efforts in the sprint backlog may be tallied. The team monitors the remaining work for each daily Scrum in order to manage the chances of achieving the sprint goal. During the sprint, the team may monitor its progress by keeping track of the remaining tasks. The sprint burn down chart is a tool for monitoring the Scrum team's work. It has been shown that this is an effective technique for monitoring sprints' progress toward the sprint goal. At least once during each sprint review, the product owner monitors the remaining work. The product owner compares this amount to the amount of remaining work from previous sprint reviews in terms of increasing progress toward completing the expected work by the deadline. This information will then be shared with all key stakeholders. During sprint planning, teams may use past burn down charts to evaluate how many tasks they can realistically complete during the next sprint. Using in-progress burn down charts, teams may decide if they are on pace to successfully finish the sprint. During the sprint review, teams may look to the burn down chart to determine if they met or exceeded the goals. Burn down charts help teams improve their predictions throughout the Scrum planning phases over time. This was about the sprint burn down chart. I think you are now familiar with sprint artifacts. Now, let us move on to our next topic, and understand who is a Scrum Master. The Scrum Master is the member of the team who is solely responsible for overseeing the process. They do not participate in decision-making, but use their knowledge and ability to assist the team through the Scrum process. Not everyone on the team will have the same knowledge of concepts like a Scrum, product owner, product backlog, and user stories. This is particularly true for Scrum-naive teams. Without a Scrum Master to promote and support the process, who can assist product owners and team members in comprehending the theory, practice, principles, and values of Scrum, the project might languish and fail. Now, let us talk about Scrum Master roles and responsibilities. A Scrum Master is an integral part of the Scrum project management team, however they do not participate in Agile release planning. This is accomplished by the product owner and Scrum team. A Scrum Master is not a project manager, a Scrum team organizes itself. In reality, a Scrum Master is not accountable for the successful completion of a project. Without a Scrum Master, however, the whole Scrum architecture would collapse. The Scrum Master maintains the project together by coordinating, but not actively participating in, The daily Scrum meeting, which is one of the 4 Scrum ceremonies. Scrum Masters assist teams in maintaining burn-down charts and organizing retrospectives, sprint reviews, and Agile sprint planning meetings. Now, a project Scrum Master has several roles and responsibilities. The Scrum Master might be seen as a servant leader. They are neither members of a hierarchy, nor do they demand ROI. Instead, they are adopting a more holistic approach to product development or software development work, spreading their expertise of Scrum project management with others while creating a feeling of community and encouraging shared decision-making authority inside the Scrum team. So, let us now talk about Scrum Master roles. Here are some of the primary roles of a Scrum Master. The Scrum Master assists the product owner by ensuring that everyone in the Scrum team is aware of the product's objectives, scope, and domain. Next, Scrum Masters provide Agile project management strategies and tools to successfully manage the product backlog and inform Scrum team members of the necessity to prioritize urgent user stories in the product backlog. Next, the Scrum Master is also responsible for continuously informing project stakeholders on the status of the current Agile sprint and product or software development activity. This may be accomplished via the different Scrum Artifacts, for example, product backlogs, Scrum meetings, and burn-down charts, as well as through standard project management communication efforts. Next, Scrum Masters are also familiar with project planning in an experimental environment. A Scrum Master is naturally excellent at organizing Agile sprints and leading Agile teams. They are responsible for organizing Scrum meetings as required to provide process direction or information. Now, let us talk about Scrum Master responsibilities. The main objective of a Scrum Master is to serve as an Agile coach, assisting Scrum teams to self-organize and collaborate cross-functionally in order to better manage their product backlog and optimize their productivity. Here are some of the most important Scrum Master responsibilities. Scrum Masters help in the creation of a high-value product by eliminating barriers from the team's Scrum process and providing guidance through daily Scrum meetings or other venues as required. The Scrum team should be able to rely on the Scrum Master to remove obstacles and prioritize user stories in the product backlog in order to pave way. This will enable them to concentrate on completing the user stories on their plate as swiftly and effectively as possible. In addition, the Scrum Master helps the companies by directing and mentoring the move to a Scrum framework. In this role, the Scrum Master will drive changes that boost the team's productivity while collaborating with other Scrum Masters and product owners to promote the organization-wide adoption of the Scrum methodology. Now, let us move on to our next topic: how to become a certified Scrum Master. Formal Scrum Master training and certification is the most direct path to become a Scrum Master. The following are some of the certifications you may get to become a Scrum Master. CSM Certification Training. Certified Scrum Masters, or CSM, is one of the most prominent qualifications for Scrum Masters worldwide. By obtaining CSM certification, you will have a thorough grasp of Scrum concepts as well as team roles, events, and artifacts. You will understand how to protect the team from internal and external distractions and assist them in succeeding. Invensis Learning CSM Certification Training course will help you learn the Scrum framework and pass the CSM test on your first try. Also, there are more than 1 million CSMs worldwide, demonstrating the certification's global appeal. Next certification is SAFe 5 Scrum Master Certification. SAFe Scrum Master Certification Training is one of the most popular and well-known courses in Agile methodology for individuals who want to understand the function of Scrum Master in a business wishing to expand its Agile framework. The SAFe Scrum Master Training is totally different from Scrum Master Training, in which the emphasis is on the Agile team, and instead focuses on the servant leadership role. This SAFe Scrum Master Training is designed for professionals who are currently serving as Scrum Masters in environments where various frameworks are in use. Globally, Invensis Learning offers live, online SAFe 5 Scrum Master Certification Training in accordance with Scaled Agile Incorporated's guidelines. This SAFe Scrum Master Training will teach you how to enable Scrum throughout the organization and establish high-performing Agile teams. This 2-day SSM certification course will be taught by certified SAFe program consultants or SPCs with extensive domain knowledge. This SAFe Scrum Master program will provide participants with 16 CEUs and the information necessary to appear for the SAFe 5 Scrum Master exam. Individuals and corporate teams may take this SAFe Scrum Master training course online or in a group environment. Next certification is Agile Scrum Master Certification. Agile Scrum Master Certification Training is an advanced course in Agile project management that focuses on the Agile concepts and methodologies underlying the Scrum framework. This prevalent strategy optimizes corporate benefit by minimizing potential risks. It enhances your capacity to develop and deliver high-quality items to clients. This EXAN accredited Agile and Scrum Master certification training course is perfect for software engineers, project team members, team leaders, architects, project managers, Scrum team members, Scrum managers, Scrum Masters, teams migrating to Scrum, and any IT and project management team member. Invensis Learning's Agile Scrum Master certification training course will teach you how to assist, guide, and empower cross-functional and self-managed teams as a Scrum Master, and how to implement this knowledge in practice. Invensis Learning is an EXAN registered education partner that provides worldwide Agile Scrum Master training. This is a 2-day instructor-led online Agile Scrum Master training course that will be conducted by professional and accredited educators with extensive domain knowledge. Attendees of this Agile Scrum Master course will get 14 CEUs and have access to webinars, case studies, and practice exams created by industry professionals. Individuals and business teams may participate in this Agile Scrum Master course through live online and on-site instruction. The training participants will get a hard copy of the course materials. I would like to conclude the session by saying, Scrum is characterized as a framework in which individuals may handle complicated adaptive challenges while still being productive and innovative in the delivery of high-value end products. Scrum includes other characteristics, such as being lightweight and simple to understand. For Scrum teams to understand and apply the Agile Scrum methodology, it is essential that they complete renowned Agile certification courses. Once a substantial percentage of staff have received training in Agile methodology, it becomes simpler for businesses to accomplish full Agile transformation by using Scrum best practices. With this, we have come to an end of this video. I hope it was helpful. Comment your thoughts in the section below. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell, never to miss an update from the Invensis Learning channel. Also, if this has spiked your interest and you want to learn more about Scrum and its practices, check out Agile Scrum Master certification training by Invensis Learning, which will help learn how to facilitate, coach, and enable cross-functional and self-managed teams as a Scrum Master. You can also check our other courses such as Certified Scrum Master, Professional Scrum Master, Safe Scrum Master, and Agile Scrum Foundation. We at Invensis Learning provide interactive instructor-led certification training by trainers with rich domain experience and expertise. We also provide mock tests to make you confident while appearing for the certification exams, access to mock tests and case studies prepared by the industry experts, and personalized LMS with lifetime access that contain course resources. Thank you. Have a nice day.